Hello, you come from Australia.
Yes, a long way.
A long way from Paris. Just tell me, who is the father or the mother of this new geopolitical concept called Indo-Pacific? Who is the father or the mother?
Yeah. Well, there are lots of people who claim paternity. There are scholars, of course, including some associated with the Lowy Institute. And then there are governments, because the Australian government has adopted the Indo-Pacific concept, the American government has, PACOM has become Indo-PACOM, for example. I know President Macron...
PACOM, it's Pacific Command.
Pacific Command in Hawaii is now known as Indo-PACOM. President Macron himself, I know, has spoken of the Indo-Pacific, but I have to confess, I'm a skeptic. I'm not an atheist, but I'm an agnostic about the concept, because I think that these issues are decided by power, not by language. And I don't like political correctness and official nomenclature. Now, I shouldn't say this as an Australian, because Australians love the Indo-Pacific concept, because with the Pacific to our east and the Indian Ocean to our west, it puts Australia right at the centre of the Indo-Pacific. But to me, as I say, these decisions are driven by changes in power relativity and by individual decisions that leaders make. So I'm happy to go along with the Indo-Pacific if people like, but I think really it's more important to look at the interests of the countries.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think this concept, this geopolitical concept, is a way to counter the China's hegemony in the language and also in the politics?
There's no question that the Indo-Pacific is mainly about China. In Australia, for example, in the Pacific, both political parties have committed to a significant step up in terms of resources we spend in the South Pacific and military cooperation and diplomatic posts and so on. And that's not random, that's not coincidental, it's because China is stepping into the Pacific much more. But I don't think it's about containing China, which is what people often say, that everybody is trying to contain China. China is too big and scary to be contained. It is already the largest economy in the world. It's an enormously important power, and it has very legitimate aspirations to influence, to significant influence. But I do think that the interests of the region are furthered when the rules of the road are respected and widely observed. And I think many people in Asia are not convinced that China believes in following those rules of the road. In fact, they don't. They say that those rules are someone else's rules. And so I do think part of the Indo-Pacific idea is to try not to allow one state, China, to dominate the Indo-Pacific. That is, to bring the United States, to keep the United States firmly anchored in the region, but also to bring other powers into the region to complicate matters and to establish more of a balance of forces and balance of power in the region.
What does France and other European countries could do in this Indo-Pacific area? France has some island in the South Pacific, but it's not our priority, strategic priority.
Right.
So, from Australia.
Well, you're a resident power in the Pacific, as you say, with territories, with I think 1 million citizens in the Pacific. But France is also a global power, and it's a country that thinks globally, that has global interests, global capabilities. And I think all countries like ours that are beneficiaries of the liberal order, of the rules-based order, sometimes we have to serve in its bodyguard. And just as Australia, of course, has participated in numerous wars in Europe, although that's not on our strategic front door, I think Australians and others would like to see the French, the Brits and others more engaged in the region. Whether that means more ship visits, more naval patrols, more cooperation. I think there's a lot of possibilities. Of course, the big submarine deal between Australia and France is useful here, because I think that will do something powerful to bring these two democracies together.
Yeah. So thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.